in the last two exercises, we talked about kind of hovering and selecting. We even did something where we selected one object to affect another object. This one's going to be kind of like that as well. So like in the last one, I had to select I think it was like the black cube to affect the cylinder in the background. But what if I didn't even want to select anything? Well, what I'm going to do here is I have a cylinder that's currently gray. And what I want to do is I want to set up like a hover. So if you hover over a particular area, it would affect it. But I don't want it to be an actual object. I want it to be sort of like a hit area, so to speak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a child. So I have this cylinder here. I'm going to add a child empty to it. And I'm just going to call this like a collider trigger. Okay. And so the idea here is that I'm going to apply a collider to this empty, this child of the object. And this is going to be the area that people interact with, not the cylinder itself, or not even like another object in the scene. Okay. So I have this collider, or this empty. I'll just pull it forward a little bit, and I'm going to add a box collider to it. And it's kind of hard to see because it's like green on top of bright yellow, but you see that? That's your sort of normal collider. And I'm just going to edit it. And actually, let's kind of maybe move it. I'm going to move it to the side here. Okay. Maybe like here to the side. Okay. And what I'm going to do is go to my cylinder and let's add we're going to add an XR simple interactable. And I'm going to set, usually we set the interaction manager to everything. And what I'm going to do is we're going to set up the hover. And I'm going to click on hover. And I'm going to say, okay, when we hit this area, let's affect the cylinder. And let's make that material appear, or change its material. And let's change it from what it is currently to this red checker pattern. Okay. And then when you stop hovering, we will set it back. All right, so I'm going to take this, and what we're going to say is when you stop hovering, let's set this back to its normal. So I dragged in, we want to affect the cylinder, and then we're going to set the mesh material back to its normal, which is the gray material. Okay. And so this is how we would normally work. Now, normally what would happen is it would interact with this. What we want to do is under colliders, let's drag in that collider here, the one that we set up. What this will do is this is now going to supersede the normal mesh. And so this is now going to be the thing that interacts to cause this to happen. Okay. The other thing you might want to do is in exercise 2, we talked about what's the word I'm looking for? We talked about having a reticle. A reticle is like a little custom object appear at the end of your ray interactor, right? Now, normally we talked about how you could apply those in general, so it's like always available, but sometimes we wanted to update or change. So like, what if, I wanted a custom reticle, but just for this object, not for all of the time. So reasons why you might want to do this is like, I don't know, maybe there's like maybe in your world, there's like a stereo player or a TV, and when you put your cursor over it, it has a little play button to kind of let the let the user know that you can like play or turn on the TV or something like that. Or maybe there's like you put your cursor over like a light, you can like turn the light on or off or something like that. So that might be a reason why you might want a custom reticle for specific situations. So if you actually go under custom reticle, I'm going to use the prefab one that we built earlier, and I'm just going to drag that in. And so what happens is when I put my cursor over when the cursor hits this, it should turn into that custom reticle. Okay, so why don't you guys try that out, and I'll go into the headset in a second. You're going to see how that looks.
All right, guys, this is exercise 7. So here, what I'm trying to show you is I set up, there is a there's a collider. Remember, the collider is the thing that we can put our cursor on. So here it's like, by putting I put the cursor or the collider over here. So when I do that, it's actually affecting the object over here. So it's kind of like when we touched the cube and we affected the other object. The difference here is it can even just be a collider. It doesn't even have to be an object, really. Just something that the user can interact with. In this case, it is like like I cannot move through this. So the other thing I wanted to show you is, see how the receptacle or the reticle is on? So you can actually, but it's not on there. So we talked about reticles in an earlier exercise. So this is like maybe if you wanted to put it on a particular object. So maybe, I don't know, like let's say there's like a boom box and I wanted to set up a reticle that looks like a music thing to kind of give the indication to the user that if you click, you're going to, start music or something. So this is why you might want to have like a custom reticle based on the object, not just overall, because before it was always on, but you'll notice I only get it here. So it's like you can be a little bit more specific is my point. Okay.